Hi there. I am so excited to have my friend and colleague, Darlene Belle, here with me today. Darlene is a registered nurse, operating room nurse. She's also an integrative nurse coach and licensed esthetician. She is the founder of Bellevue Integrative Wellness LLC. And you are going to be so excited to hear what she has to say today. The first thing I want to ask you, though, because I think there might be some folks out there who say, well, what is exactly a licensed esthetician? So can you explain that for us before we get started?
Laura, sure. So thank you for having me, first of all. And like you said, in addition to my role as a registered nurse, I'm also a licensed esthetician. And so people always ask that question, what is an esthetician? And it's basically an individual who provides skincare to others. And when I say skincare, meaning facials, it could be body wrap, basically your skin. Your skin is the largest organ of your body. And it's very telling. It will let others know whether you have stress in your life that will show up through acne, how much time you spend outside in the sun. It can show up with sunspots, pre-aging wrinkles. It basically will tell on you. And so whatever you put into your body, it will show internally as well as externally. And my role is to be able to provide services to you to help you make it better, to help in ways of prevention and slowing the aging process, whatever your needs are. And so it can show up in peels, it can show up as just facials, body wraps, and that's pretty much it.
I love that that's what you do as a nurse. I love that. I tell you, I personally never put the two together, but when you explain it that way, it makes perfect sense. And I'll never forget when you and I first started working together. We were kind of like working out something. We were, and you said, I help people glow. And I was like, that's exactly right. You help them glow from the inside, their skin glows. So I just think that is a beautiful way of explaining what you do. I love it.
Thank you.
So the first question I ask you, and this is normally I ask everybody this question, is what does integrative nurse coaching mean to you?
Integrative nurse coaching means so much to me. It's been life-changing. So when I think of the entire term, I actually have to break it down. And so when you break down the three words and you think of the term integrative, what does integrative actually mean? It means the ability to be able to unify different parts. And the word nursing, our role, the nursing is a profession where we provide care for others, and usually in the form of people who are ill, people who are sick. And then when you think of a coach and you think of the word nurse and coach together, you kind of pause and go, well, how exactly does that work? And so coaches, when you think of coaches, you think of a person who trains one person or training groups of people. And it's usually used in terms of sports, not necessarily in nursing. So when you think of the entire term together as integrative nurse coaching, it is a nurse who is using their framework, their foundation, and approaching an individual or individuals as a whole. And when you say as a whole, people tend to think of, when they say self-care, which is becoming such a popular term, when you think of self-care, how I, as a licensed esthetician, provide skincare services to an individual, and as a registered nurse working in an operating room, I treat that person according to their diagnosis. So as our role, we tend to focus on that one part. And when you think of integrating all of it, think integrating the different aspects of people, there's so many different aspects of us. It's multifaceted. So there's the emotional, there's the mental, there's your ability to balance your life, the relationships that you have with others, the environment that you place yourself in, whether it's where you live, where you work, where you go to church, or any organizations that you may be affiliated with. And then also nutrition and exercise. There's so many different aspects of us. And so what happens is if there's a certain aspect or level that is not being met, that's when that imbalance comes in. And so a lot of times others, and including myself, you focus on this one thing, and you're thinking that this is it. For example, if it were to be, oh, I need to work out, get my nutrition right. And you're zoning in on that, not realizing that there's other pieces that connect to that, that will allow you to feel at a different level of comfort, a different level of feeling balanced. And so that's where well-being comes from. So as an integrative nurse coach, our role is to be able to walk alongside a client or walk alongside a patient to be able to help them tap into their inner wisdom so that they can discover for themselves what needs are not being met and what they can do to change behaviors that can allow them to, even if they're not able to meet every single level, but at least the majority of what may be lacking so that they can reach this level of optimal health, their best health. And everyone has a different level of what their optimal health is.
Yes.
Very individual.
I took a lot of notes mentally, and I wrote down when you were explaining that, because there were a few things you said that I want to reiterate. I think that are really important. You use the word unify. And I love that word because we are so disconnected today. And we're disconnected from ourselves. We're disconnected from others. We're disconnected from just, how we want to interact with the world. And that disconnection often leads to opposition, right? We're kind of like going back and forth and back and forth. And as a nurse, you and I both know, we were trained to really focus on each individual part, the system. It's not the system as a whole, it's this part. And that's why we have all these specialties.
Correct.
We've got the cardiac folks, we got the brain folks, we really have disconnected it's not in unity. So I love how you use the word unify as what we do as nurse coaches, because that's exactly right. We kind of bring everything back together and say, well, let's not forget that all these things work together to create this person and how this person is interacting with the world. So I love that. It's like unifying for well-being. If we could really make it really simple, that's what nurse coaching does. We unify for well-being. So I love that. Love it. So you and I were buddies going through our integrative nurse coaching program. We learned so much from one another.
I know. Such a good time.
Such a good experience. And you and I both went through some personal development. We hit into some challenges and some things that we had to work through, both, individually, but also as now kind of claiming this person that we are as a nurse coach. So can you tell me a little bit about how important personal development is, how that's been in your journey? Maybe share some experience and some key learnings from that.
Sure. Well, personal development to me is just it's so necessary. It's I feel that what I've discovered is it's in the category with having food, air, and water. Like it's a necessity, because personal development is a way of nurturing yourself, catering to yourself, and building on who you are. And it's a constant thing. It's just something that will never stop.
Yeah.
And personal development is what brought me to this course.
Yes.
I started basically discovering the coaching course was because I was on furlough as a nurse. I found myself on furlough when COVID-19 happened and there was the shutdown and everything was closed. And I found myself on furlough and unemployed. And it was during the night that I was just scrolling through Google and I couldn't sleep. And of course, just worried. And I was just thinking to myself, like, what can I do in this moment to make things better, to make myself better? And in addition to that, just going through my own, personal problems that I had. And I was just looking for a way to make things better, to make myself grow. And discovering this course, for me to be a nurse, it's natural for me to want to help others. So when I found the course, I saw that it was to coach and to help other people. And I think, oh, this is great. So I enlisted only to realize that in order for myself as a coach, as a nurse, to walk with another person and help them in their personal development, that I had to actually focus on that more for myself. And that was one of the best discoveries of this course, is finding that it wasn't even about checking other people. It was about checking myself.
Put your mask on first, right?
Oh,
Your
yeah.
oxygen.
Yeah. About checking myself. And it was absolutely amazing, because with personal development, there's self-awareness, self-reflection, self-evaluation, and self-care. It's about actually tapping into inside of you and knowing what your strengths are, what your vulnerabilities are, and actually looking at both of them. In regards to strengths, a lot of times if you've done interviews, people always ask, like, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? And for a long time, I always felt like there were two different ends of the spectrum, right? There's your strengths, and then there are your weaknesses, and your weaknesses are negative. They're things about you that, you're just not good at. But it completely flipped my perspective into thinking that your weakness is not necessarily your weakness. It's still a strength. It's just something that needs to be nurtured more.
Yes.
And that's something that I discovered through just being more aware of who I am, what I stand for, what I want, what my values are. And being able to do that and looking into myself is what allows me to be able to have a one-on-one, or to be able to have a group coaching session, and to sit in a place of genuineness, authenticity, and being able to relate to a degree, even if the issue or the topic is something that I haven't experienced, but maybe that there's something that that person or persons have shared with me that to some level I can be able to relate. And even if I can't, that I could provide them that safe space to be able to be vulnerable and to be able to share, and for them to be able to discover their own personal development through their awareness, through their reflection, through their evaluation, and in a place of kindness, of being kind to yourself.
Yes. Yes. And you said that, I remember when we were talking about how, when COVID happened and you're like, okay, what am I going to do next? And then you said that you just, you found this course, like it just kind of fell into your lap because you were looking into things, and so I remember you saying that and thinking, wow, there are probably other nurses out there who are in a similar kind of situation. I've been talking to a lot of folks who are looking for new opportunities in nursing. Either they're kind of questioning, do I leave the profession altogether because I'm kind of burnt out and I'm, kind of frustrated by what's going on, or how do I reinvigorate my practice? And so, for you, what I've heard you say is that this has been not only good for you personally, but it's helped you to reinvigorate your nursing practice.
Oh yeah, totally. And the thing is I feel as though it's something that should be added to the curriculum for your undergrad. It should be added as part of the foundation of obtaining your bachelor's degree in nursing. It's a necessity, and it I mean, as nurses, we care for people anyway, but again, we focus on the diagnosis. We focus on the main reason that they're there. Just to give you an example of having a family member who is diabetic, they go to the doctor and the doctor gives them a prescription, and it's for oral hypoglycemic medication. And they take the prescription, they're like, okay, and then they go home. But what's left out are the outside factors. You know,
Yes.
what is this person eating? What are they doing?
Yeah.
What are they doing? What's their emotional state? What are they dealing with, even, for example, with COVID that's going on? Or maybe there's a loss of job. There are so many different
Yes.
factors into just handing a person a prescription. They have to go fill it and then they take it. They need someone there with them to walk with them,
Yeah.
to be able to allow them to make better choices, whether it's their, exercising or what they choose to eat. It's just very multifaceted. And with the nurse coaching, we are able to, as nurses, help people on so many different
Yes.
levels that it's astounding. That
Bring all
I'm
of that
curious
together.
to see in 10, 20 years where this will be, where nurse coaching will be. I mean, the fact that we are allowed to get board certified in it is awesome. It's amazing. It's definitely
Huge step
grow.
forward. Yeah, it's a huge step forward. I'm excited too. I feel that we're on the cusp of really something incredible that's going to happen within the profession, because and actually you said it really nicely. You know, traditionally as nurses, we're taught to focus on the diagnosis and the problem. As nurse coaches, we're reminded that we're working with people.
Yes. Yep.
It's
Holistic.
not about the diagnosis and the problem, it's about the person. So we
the
got to take a
entire
step
person.
back and say,
Yes.
okay, what is really going on here? You know, how I treat this person with diabetes is not going to look the same as how I treat this person with diabetes. And it shouldn't, because we are unique.
Yeah.
Right now, we kind of have a one size fits all model, and nurse coaching is coming in to shift and reframe that. So I'm excited about that's what's really exciting for me, to see where it could go and the types of things we can do as nurse coaches too. So tell us a little bit more about your business. I know you're just launching and you're just getting off the ground, but tell me a little bit about your business, what your vision is for that, and if folks want to connect with you, how can they do that right now?
So I'm super excited. So my company, as we said before, it's Bellevue Integrative Wellness LLC, and this is basically my baby. Okay, I'm sorry, wait. So my focus will be to help women, specifically the groups of women, and for them to reach their optimal level of health. And I do this by increasing their personal development as well as managing stress. And we allow this by helping them choose, change, and sustain new behaviors that will result in improved long-term health.
Love that.
And it's an online virtual nurse business. So you can find me you can reach me at Darlene at bellevuewellness.com or Instagram, Bellevue_integrative_wellness.
Fantastic. And I'll make sure that's in the notes section too, so folks can connect with you. And I know you've got bigger visions for the future, so we are going to keep an eye out to see what happens there.
I do. And for now, what I will be providing will be one-to-one coaching as well as group coaching. And so even though the focus is on stress management and personal development, but I will also be providing other services necessary that go alongside any needs such as life balance, mental, social, and even will refer out to any other specialists that are needed.
Great.
So it would be definitely well-versed.
So exciting. I cannot wait till you're launched and out there. I'll be one of your first clients. I want to glow.
Excited too. Helping you glow from the inside out.
I love that. It's such a great tagline. I mean, that's your tagline right there. I love it. Okay, so this has been awesome. How about as we close out, is there anything else that you want to share with folks? Just some insights or wisdom or a tool or something that you like?
Yes, I would like to share a tool. And this is a tool that has been very helpful for me the past couple of years, especially with the pandemic and the shutdown and not being able to be around other people, being able to connect with people who you normally were able to connect to prior to everything, prior to the pandemic and the shutdown. And so that tool is journaling. And it's very, very useful for people such as myself who tend to overthink, overplan, and have so many thoughts going through your mind. And it's very helpful whether you're traditional and you want to use the pen and paper, that's fine. You get a special book and you can write all your thoughts down. Or if you're like me and you like to be able to have everything on your phone, I use the Journey app. I don't know if I can plug Journey app if that's allowed or anything like that, but
Sure.
it's Journey, Journey app. And I believe you can, I have Droid, so you can get it through Droid. I believe you can definitely get it through Apple as well. And it's awesome. It's free, but then if you want like extra features on it, you can do that. And it allows you to add pictures. It allows you to add music. And you basically just, for the day, you can just type anything that you want to type and it's saved to your phone. You can keep it private. You can keep it public. You can share. You can do whatever it is that you want. But it's a way to be able to get all of your thoughts out, all of your anxieties, all of your worries. And the great thing about it is once you put all the words out there and you see it in black and white, you have the ability to go back and reread. And that's something that I tend to do
Good to reflect,
from time to time. And it's a good way to be able to see and reflect on how much that you've grown or how much maybe you haven't changed and that you keep repeating the same things over and over. And it gives you a cue to let you know what, well, you keep saying this, so what are you going to do about it? It's a good way to check yourself. That's becoming my thing. Check yourself. It's very, very useful. It helps me a lot. It helps me to relieve a lot of stress, a lot of anxiety. And I found that as time has gone by, I don't make as many entries per day as I used to, which for me, that equates to the stress level is definitely coming to a more of a neutral level, which is great. But I do it no matter what mood. And that's the other thing. You can put on there, what mood are you in?
Oh yeah.
As you write, if you want to get that fancy.
That is cool.
So journaling is definitely anyone that needs to alleviate stress, alleviate any anxiety, that need to express thoughts, and maybe they can't reach out to someone. Journaling is definitely a great way to purge all of it.
I am a huge journal. I haven't moved to online though, and you've said this app to me before, so I may check it out because the one thing I love just like writing, like I love
yeah, which is great too.
Yeah, it's very therapeutic.
Yeah, if that's your therapy, then go for it. Yeah.
But I can't go back. It's really hard to start it. There are some good insights and ideas sometimes when you're journaling and you're like, oh, I can't. What did I want to do?
Yeah.
So thank you so much. This has been so great.
Thank you too, Tora. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're going to keep an eye out too. When that website is up and running, I'll share it for everybody.
Okay, for sure. I'll keep tabs with you and I'll let you know what's going on. And, I'll reach out to you and we can have these great conversations.
Sounds great. Thank you. I'll see you later, Darlene.
Bye.